Hey there, Derek here from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan, and we're looking at a 1998 Suzuki K-Truck. This is called the Carry. And this one was bought from auction here in Japan. We're going to be exporting it over to the USA as soon as possible. We'll just take a look at the condition of the vehicle and compare it to the auction inspection sheet here. I'm just going to start the engine for you. Okay, have a listen. Okay, you can see there 79,519 kilometers, and it's a 6-digit odometer, and so that doesn't have a chance to roll over until you hit a million kilometers. But at that point, probably a K-Truck's not going to last that long. The exhaust there is looking fine. Just switch the engine off for the rest of the review here. Okay, and first things first, let's go over the auction inspection sheet. So this one's a 1998 Carry, auction grade 4 with interior C. I'd say interior C is a little bit rough. I'd say it's more like a 3.5B. The exterior has some damages on it, a little bit of rust. So 79,517 kilometers at the time of auction, so just 2 kilometers for it to get here, which was carried. For some reason, they just will carry a car if they have a spare carrier, and it'll charge the same amount as driving. No sales points, no notes. This is a rear-wheel drive one, and the tires need to be replaced. The ones on the rear are a little bit out of tread. The rear-wheel drive ones, you don't get as much traction as the front four-wheel drive ones. That said, they are a lot cheaper, and so if you're not intending to take it off-road or in the mud, then a rear-wheel drive one is just fine. You'll get better fuel economy, and they're quite a bit cheaper, like around $1,000 less. Maybe not that much, $700, $800 less or so. Okay, the report here says interior scratched, seat saggy and dirty, underside surface rust, headliner is saggy, and then the bed and the sides scratched, dented, and rust on them. Some U2 dents on the front, U2 on the door over here, and then some uneven paint on the door on this side. They didn't mention it, but there's some pretty serious scratches on the side here. Actually, no, this side. So, the other side over there. Usually something they're going to mention. Really weird that they didn't mention it. That said, I do have a feeling like these K-Trucks aren't inspected super thoroughly compared to other vehicles, because K-Trucks here in Japan are a disposable quantity. Like, these, when they were new, were $7,000. And after 25 years... they're basically worth nothing. They get sent to auction, and the only reason why they cost what they do is because these are hugely popular in the USA for import. So one that's 20 years old can be had for $80 or so. Once they reach US legal age, they boost up to probably somewhere around $1,000 for most of them. Sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, and then with all costs and everything, a little bit, of course, landing costs is going to be a lot more than that, but 25% tax on these because of the chicken tax also, but because they're not too expensive, it is still worth it to bring them in by the truckload. There are, in fact, dealers in the USA that are bringing these in exclusively to sell because they make a great farm vehicle, they make a great off-road vehicle, or they just make a fun project. Has AC, no power steering needed. Yeah. Great little trucks. Do be careful, though. A number of states have decided that these are not going to be legal anymore. I think Georgia's one of them. Kentucky's another one. Usually red states. I don't want to be political, but it seems to be red states that's banning everything, including K-Trucks. And most other states, I can't say that completely. California has also basically banned all vehicles, so this is not a political thing. It's just me being an idiot. Anyways, back to the truck here. Condition-wise, okay, so we already talked about this. So the front end here has a number of areas with a little bit of rust on it. Something I'd like the auction sheets to mention a little bit better. Now, my overall impression of the vehicle is that this is higher grade than your average K-Truck, so do keep that in mind, which is a good thing. It is kind of sad that they didn't really mention a few of the things. They didn't mention this, a U2. There's another U2 right here. These are fairly minor in the grand scheme of things. Now the roof, and I'm just going to use this area here to step up. Pretty common for K-Trucks to get surface rust on the roof. And then the rain gutters here have some as well. And so this surface rust hasn't turned into what we consider corrosion. And so it can still be addressed fairly easily, all things considered. You don't need body filler or anything like that in order to repair it. You just need to sand it down in here and then repaint it, and it should be good. Okay. Coming down this side here, we have a couple of little scratches there. The back rack and the back board have a lot of scratches that have turned into surface rust because they haven't been touched up. You'll find this is really the case, especially on a K truck that's more than 10 or 15 years old, is when people get scratches, the truck is worth so little, they don't invest in it. You can just get another one for, a few $100s. And so it is harder to find one in great condition. The beds also have the same sort of thing. These trucks are really only used for doing commercial work here in Japan. The fact that they're popular for like passenger vehicles in North America because of their quirkiness and their weirdness and great fuel economy would probably seem pretty strange to your average Japanese person who just sees these as completely utilitarian vehicles. It's kind of funny to think a utilitarian vehicle like the Land Cruiser 70 series is around the world loved and adored. So it's kind of like a very small version of something like that. Now you get some JDM rope here, if you want that. Actually, we're going to go over some JDM accessories. It also came with not a fuel cap, a pet bottle cap, JDM, of course, an elastic band. None of this stuff's going to make it there, so this is your chance to say goodbye to it. A JDM rag, which looks like it was made out of a t-shirt. The license plate surround, some nuts and bolts, a little piece of wire. Okay, and then some rust along here as well as in here. Now all three bed sides flip down, making these things super duper useful. You can load it from the side, you can load it from any side you want. We can flip that down, you can put it up, or you can put a piece of wood in here to make it taller, or you can build your own rack. It's the customization options are unlimited. Your fuel tank is in the back here, and the engine is really in the middle. Now I checked the oil, and the oil is fine. It's easy to check that. In order to check the coolant, you have to open this up with bolts, and for that reason we don't check the coolant unless you want us to. There may be some extra fees if you want us to do further work on a vehicle, like get anything else tested. Just K trucks, because it's a little bit more difficult, we don't do that as per normal. So here's your scratches in the side. Tisk auction house for not mentioning these. I don't know how it was missed. It's very rare to miss something. I'd say 1 in 20, maybe 1 in 25 vehicles that we sell would have this level of something missed. Maybe even 1 in 50. And I don't really know how it happens because it's pretty rare and there's really no way that we can ask. Like, hey, how come you guys missed that? Is it because you suck? I don't think the auctions will say, yes, we are sucky, and that's why. Okay, that said, I don't think anything nefarious is ever happening at the auction. That's my opinion. It has these rubber caps that have been put on. These are a dealer option and can be bought in the aftermarket, and they protect the bed sides from being damaged. They're on several of them, at least 30 or 40%, and it's good to get one with those. Sometimes you can get one with a mat in here that keeps the bed in good condition as well. That's a little bit less common, I would say. Okay, let's go now to the interior, and there's really not much in the interior. I would say if you're taller than 5'10", it's going to be a little bit tight. If you're taller than 6 feet, you're probably not going to fit. If you're a larger dude or a larger lady, it's also going to be a little on the tight side in here. That said, I'm 5'10". It's completely doable for me. Door cards have been painted black. Just a little bit of a weird move. Got a bit of a rip in this one here. And door mirrors too have been painted black. Usually they're an unpainted body color, or I guess an unpainted black plastic like the front bumper. Okay, so in here your seats are actually in fairly good condition. It's very common for a K truck to get ripped seats. These ones haven't been ripped. There is some Sag in this seat, not too bad, I would say. It said saggy large, but it seems not too bad to me. A couple of areas here with some paint worn away. This is because when you're sitting in here and you get out, your pants will wipe on this, off and on. And do keep in mind that unlike a regular car, a lot of these K-trucks are used throughout the day while people are working in and around a work site and whatnot. So it is not unheard of for a vehicle to get entered and exited and the seat to wear out a lot more than you would think with the mileage. Like if it's a Serena and you see 70,000 kilometers on there, you can get a good idea of what that means in a Serena. But for a K-truck, it is a little bit more risky in that respect. Okay, headliner is saggy. You can see up there. It's really not too bad. It's just a glued on piece of fabric and so can be re-glued if that's your thing. It's a 5-speed manual. Some of the earlier ones are 4-speed manual. Has been smoked in, as most of them have been, but there's not a lot in here that the smoke smell can be sucked into. So it doesn't really smell of cigarettes in here. The glove box is broken. If you try to open it, it'll just fall out because one of the pegs at the bottom here is gone. This has been glued onto the dashboard, a cup holder. So it has this and this, which are wire mounts. Something else was glued on here previously, and you have an air freshener, which is the only thing you can really smell in here. Is kind of like an old truck vinyl smell, as well as air freshener, not air purifier, air freshener. Okay. And aftermarket floor mats with some worn out section. A lot of aftermarket floor mats are just not built to last, and so that's pretty common for that to happen. Underneath them, looks like you have the standard rubber mats, and so you're good. Okay, it's K-Truck, it's simple, it's cheap, so there's not a ton to go over in these videos. So the videos tend to be a little bit shorter as a result, but that's what we have here. As usual, if you have any questions, please let us know. We do check the comments all the time, and so do ask questions in the comments. But if you want a response for certain, make sure that you send an email. There's a link to our website in the description for the video. Thanks so much for watching, and have a nice day.